Hi, I'm Timothy Mitchell with Mimaki USA. I am here at Reece Supply in Dallas, Texas. And I'm here with my friend Khalid, who is the marketing and really have a lot of production background as well, which is really wonderful. And we're discussing what we think are the 10 most important reasons why you should consider LED UV, and specifically the Mimaki UC, which has the cutter built on it. It's U for UV, UCJV300-160. That's the printer here behind us. Number 6, cost to print. Cost to print matters. Everybody wants to save money on the printing rather than spend more money on the printing. And you do that by ensuring that, for example, you have very good profiles that don't use too much ink, and also that you use an ink technology that is more frugal rather than less frugal. And we believe that LED UV inherently uses less ink to achieve a very high quality print than alternative technologies on the market like resin-based latex or solvents. It's simply a very economical way to print. You do not need a lot of ink to achieve your results, and the cost of the ink is very reasonable. So using less ink and the cost of the ink being low, we feel that your cost of operation is always going to be significantly less than alternative technologies.
Yes, in my experience, we love Mimaki inks. It's you get a lot out of it. You can dial it down, put the right amount that you need. And we find that it's very, very good ink to put down on most of our medias that we have.
Sure. What we find is that the inherent way that LED lands on the material and then stays right there on the top of material and then is fixed immediately by the curing lamps is it allows everything to reach a complete state of being dry, being installable, but then really doesn't need a lot of ink to get there. If you go through the actual profiling process, right from ink restriction all the way through linearization and global ink limits, you will find that you achieve your density targets or your chroma targets without having to use a lot of ink to do it. We're seeing significant percentage reductions versus competitor technologies, which simply have to use either a larger drop size or more ink to achieve the same color results. Another really cool thing about this printer is it uses an outstanding variable drop piezo technology. So when you're printing with the finest dot you need to achieve the goal versus some other technologies which have a fixed drop size of, let's say, 10 or 12 picoliter. We can print much smaller, and then that gets adjusted by Mimaki's waveform technologies and variable drop technologies to make sure you're only needing the drop size you need to achieve the saturation and coverage that you need. So,
and one big thing that we like to talk about is saving on time. With UV, it cures instantly. There is no waiting around for it to outgas. You can immediately go to application. You can immediately go to cut. You can just go straight to the end product.
Yeah, your cost of operation isn't always just ink savings. Your cost of operation, or why it's less expensive to print, is you're quick, you get things done right the first time, the handling is super easy. In many cases, you don't need lamination. Imagine being able to take lamination out of your workflow. Like, let's say you're printing with aqueous printers, or you're printing with solvent printers that require a lamination step. If you could take that out, how much of a savings in both labor, errors, mistakes, as well as the cost of the laminate? I would say it's substantial.
I can't tell you how many times I've finished a laminate and there was a hair right under there.
Right. And you're like, oh no.
Got to start all over.
Got to start all over again. I'm banned from lamination. I don't even have a laminator anymore. I'm so bad with them. I'm really just like, hey, if I can get a technology doesn't require lamination most of the time, that's a godsend to me.
It's one big reason why we switched over to the UV is we could cut out the lamination process along with mistakes.
Right, you're always going to have some things that have to be laminated, but if I can take a lot of that out and significant out of my workflow and still meet customer expectations, especially for a lot of indoor applications, I'm golden, and I would much rather do it that way. So we believe that there's a significant and meaningful reduction in the cost of operation by adopting an LED UV like the Mimaki UCJV300 versus alternative technologies out there. One other that I did kind of miss a little bit is Because LED UV is such a dominant technology, increasingly globally, what you will find in your media selections is two things. One, media is available everywhere. Everybody's making for LED UV because that is the global dominant technology. And number two, you're going to get very competitive prices on that. You don't need specialty coatings like aqueous or a lot of solvent needs. You can use the universal medias that are available everywhere at the best prices. So you have selection and you have competitive costs rather than having a technology where that technology is getting narrower and narrower and fewer people are using it, which means the coding or development for it costs more and the price is going up. So in some other technologies, your media availability is shrinking while your costs are rising. And in LED UV, the media availability is getting broader while the costs are going narrow or getting lower. So I think media is also another key reason for cost, and it has to be included in the messaging that we make.